Right, I'm going to show you how I use my pizza peels to get the pizza into the oven, spin it in the oven and get it out of the oven. Let's get to the market. I'm going to get it set up and then I'm going to show you how to do it, so let's go. Okay, so I'm all set up. I'm ready to go, and basically I need to cook a couple of pizzas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I use the peel essentially and how I get a pizza out the box and ready to bake. I've already baked a couple. See here, this is my dough. This is 63% hydration dough today. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this one out here. So let me put this down there. So I've got semolina rimancinata. It is a fine grade semolina flour. That is what I use on the deck, okay? You can use whatever flour you like. Use 00, use a 0, use semolina, use whatever. I use this, it's a durum wheat. It's a little bit heavier gauge. It feels a little bit heavier than a 00 or like just a plain flour, and it doesn't make so much of a mess in here, and I just like it, okay? It's not coarse, it's very fine. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna bring you down here. Right, I'm gonna go for this one. I'm gonna get a little bit of flour down each edge. Notice there is no oil, there is no flour in the tray when I do the dough balls. There's nothing in there, okay? And we're gonna get our scraper. And we're just gonna cut down. This is not gonna be scraping up plastics, don't worry about that. It has a rounded edge to it, and it basically, because of the flour that's there, it's acting as like, you know, a barrier, and it's making it so it doesn't stick. So what I'm doing is I'm just going down the lines of the dough and I'm just cutting that dough ball out, okay? I'm doing this slower than I usually would. Get a little bit more and I'm going to get underneath it, and I'm just going to slide it underneath until I'm underneath the dough ball, and then I can lift it up. That's going to go back over there. Don't be afraid to use a decent amount of flour at this point. Now I'm going to turn it upside down. That is the bottom of the pizza. Okay, that is the bottom, and that was what was in the bottom of the tray, okay? So what at this point, because it essentially had turned into a square inside the tray, so this is your moment to just get it back into a round, and you can just tuck it into itself basically, but I want to turn it round. And now, because I put it upside down, like, I've got enough flour on the top of this pizza, okay, that I'm not going to now turn it over again. But what I do is I think of a little smiley face, and I get my fingers just sort of towards the middle of the dough ball, a little bit further down, and I'm just going to push. I'm using like this part of my finger here. I'm going to push down towards the crust, and once I get about a finger's width of crust, you can leave a bigger crust if that's your thing. It's all good, it's just how I do mine. I'm going to work my way down and then back up, and I'm going to spread it out. And you see, I've stretched it one way. Now, a lot of pizza makers, you'll see they'll flip it over. By all means do that. It's just not something that I like to do because I've got enough flour on the top. So I'm just going to pick it up and I'm going to spin it. So that's now, you know, I'm now working towards the top again. So I'm going to migrate that air towards the crust. Don't be afraid, you can use your hand to push it up against to sort of form that crust and make sure you get that nice even edge. And essentially what we're doing is we're just flattening it out and making sure it's nice and even. Now, I can fit my whole hand in it. This is where it gets fun. I'm going to do the slap method. So, I'm going to fit my whole hand in it. I'm going to turn my hand over and I'm going to bring the dough with it. And I'm thinking this part is going to go to my wrist, okay? And I'm just going to let it there, hang there. Now I need to get rid of all that excess flour. I don't want any of this on the underside, because this method gets rid of all of that. You can see it on there. Hand at a 90-degree angle, slam it down, keeping your hand on the surface. Like, slam it down and keep the hand there. That hand is now going to support the dough, so you can give it a little pull. So I'm just going to put my thumb across, give it a pull. Now we're back where we started. Turning my hand over, bringing that to the wrist. 90 degree. And you see, I'm just doing this motion until it opens up. It should take maybe three, 4 goes if your dough's well fermented. Got a little air bubble there, just want to get rid of it. There you go, I've got a nice round. That isn't quite the size of the peel. If you have a look at the size of the peel, it's like it's about an inch or so off. You don't want to make your pizza the full size at the moment if you're going to scoop it up. By all means, if you're using a wooden peel, then you can assemble it on that. It won't stick to it. You know, you might have to use a bit of dusting flour, but I don't want to put any excess flour on my peel or on the underside of this pizza. Basically, flour burns quite quickly. Any excess will burn on the underside of your pizza, and you want to avoid that. So what we're going to do, my little girl wanted a pepperoni. So sauce, just a spoonful of sauce. This is 80 grams of sauce on here. There's a perfect amount spread across on a Neapolitan pizza. We're going to get our little pecorino cheese. I like using pecorino.
Normally I'd put basil on this, but she doesn't want basil. So we got our Fior Latte mozzarella. This is a fresh cow's milk mozzarella. Comes from Somerset. It's amazing. Use whatever you can get though. Just if you are going to use this stuff, it needs to be drained. I have a whole video on how I cut the cheese. This cheese, in fact, it's here or here. Click on it at the end. Now that's ready for some pep. This is my pepperoni or salami, whatever you want to call it. This one is properoni. I've talked about it before. It's smoky, it's delicious, tastes a bit like smoky bacon. It curls up, it crisps up, and it is amazing. Right, that's enough for her. That's ready to go under the peel. Right, now, I'm going to just turn my oven up a little bit. So this is the Gozney Pro peel. As you know, you see it's dry, it's clean. You want to keep your peel nice and clean. This has got no excess flour on it. If it's going to go on, it's going to come off, okay? Put a little bit of pressure on your surface. Get underneath it and you see it's gone on. I know I can just push it, and now I'm going to pull back a little bit and I'm going to push again. And that's on there. You see there's a little bit of excess flour. You can just get rid of it. It's all good. That's enough to get the job done, okay? And at this point we're going to want to stretch it onto the peel. The other method you could do is you could just grab it. If you're not confident in shoving it and you're afraid you're going to shove it off your table, just grab it, hold it there, and pull it on like that. That's all good. If you're going to slide it onto the peel, you kind of need to have your peel at a bit of an angle, ideally, and that's better with a square tapered peel with like a square edge to it. If I just put you this way, I can show you how we do that, and we do like the crab method. So, I've got my peel here. It's flat. Let's just prop it up. Oh no, let's keep it flat. That's fine. Okay, got the peel here, and you're going to get underneath. You're going to crab underneath it, and you're just going to pull it onto the peel. And this way is quite good, although it does redistribute your toppings a little bit too much, and then you've got to mess with it afterwards, rather than just doing the fast scoop. But I have already stretched it one way, so I can just stretch it this way, and this will go to the limits of the peel. This is a 270 gram dough ball, but I do need to just rejig the toppings a little bit, because kind of doing that motion, lifting it up, has kind of made them go elsewhere. Right, now I know that when I know it's going to come off. Boss man, thank you very much. Oh, the box. Oh no, it's all right. Oh yeah, I'll use it again. Thank you. Cheers, man. Thank you. That was my chicken shawarma just arrived. And he gave me the box back so I can reuse it for my kid. That's cool. Wicked. Right, that's ready for the oven. Okay, so when it goes in the oven, I'm just gonna like flip you around. 360 camera. I've got this peel here, okay? So what we're doing, we're just gonna basically go in, we're gonna slam down, and we're gonna pull straight out, okay, with this peel. I don't wanna go shove it in like that and slide it in, because when you slide it in, it can riffle up the pizza a little bit and cause like a double dough spot kind of thing. I also don't wanna do this kind of in and out motion, because you've spent time getting it to the full size on the peel. If you then go like this and shake it off, every time you push it back in, you're pushing it back in on itself. So I do this nice motion, right, here comes the pizza, I'm gonna go straight down and out. And it's like a magician pulling away a blanket, with not a blanket, like a tablecloth, where they pull away the tablecloth. And leave everything on it, like all the china and the glasses. It's that kind of motion. You just got to be confident and sort of quite quick with it. Now you'll see this is where you don't have a lot of time, and I'm going to show you where you can practice this outside the oven. So what I'm doing here is I'm using my turning peel just to guard the pizza a little bit before I go in and check the base. I don't want it to overly colour the left hand side, the flame side. So I'm just going to check it out. Right, I'll get a really nice cook on it now. So now I can get underneath it. And the reason I was doing that is to allow it to sit on the stone long enough that it allows me to go in for that first turn, and I'm not going to like mess up the pizza essentially. Let's get the box ready. You see it's getting a really nice colour on that side. I'm just going to get in and give it another quarter turn, checking the underside every turn. Got a liner in the box. Another little turn, checking the underside every turn. Let me bring you in. You see this? It's getting a really nice colour on it. Cheese is bubbling, underside is done. At this point I'm just going to lift it up, I'm going to spin it till I've got the desired cook, and I'll show you how I'm doing this outside the oven. Ding, we're done. Oh man, look at that. See all the oil and everything's come out of that. That's awesome. Right, let me just put that there. Let me put my camera just here. let's get rid of this box. What we're going to do, we're going to show you just here on this surface what I'm doing. Okay, so because when the pizza's in the oven, right, you've got seconds. There's no real time to kind of like mess this up. Like, and I know it's intense. It's, you know, you've got probably 30 seconds before you've got to do your first turn. Sorry, there's a dog doing shit over there. Anyway, you've got like 30 seconds before you've got to do your first turn. It's intense, right? And if you don't get it right, you might rip it, and it can be quite intense. So we've got our peel here, our pizza here. What I'm doing with this peel is I'm just tilting one edge. Like, I'm just doing this motion. So if I just put it there for a sec. So what I'm doing whilst it's in the oven, I'm tilting down one side and I'm just doing this motion. Okay, and I'm using the pivot point here. I've got this nice pivot point. Now by all means, if you don't have the mantle, use the edge of this. Don't kind of hold it up and do this. It's easier to just use this pivot point and just kind of do this motion where you're pulling down one side. And what's happening is when I do that, is that side of the pizza's gripping and I'm spinning it round. So if I show you this outside of the oven, just here, it's tilt one side down, right? Tilt one side down, pull towards you and push back in. And it's this motion that I'm doing, it's this. And what that's going to do, it's going to allow you to spin the pizza in one spot. And you kind of want to keep the peel, if you go left or you go right, keep it over to that side. So I spin sort of like anti-clockwise. So I sort of have the peel like that side of the pizza, so that side can touch. So it's like down, and I'm always keeping it on kind of like that side of the pizza, like when, like essentially like 9 o'clock on a clock. Okay, and I'm going anti-clockwise. So like, a really good way of practicing this is, let me put you back over here. A really good way of practicing this would be to do what I've just done. Bake a couple of pizzas, right? Or like use something like a tortilla wrap, right? Just buy like a big, large tortilla wrap and practice. You can even practice this in your oven while your oven is cold and off. And it sounds silly, but like I did a pizza class the other day and I had people practicing this. They'd cooked a pizza, or I'd cooked them a pizza, and then they were just practicing that on a stainless surface. And I tell you what, within 5 to 10 minutes, they were nailing it, and then they were more confident when they went into the oven to use their peel. It's just a little trick that's going to give you that extra time, so you're not basically burning your pizza or breaking it inside the oven and stuff like that. So that is how I use the turning peel. And like I said, with this peel, what's super important when you're using launching peels is to keep them clean. Like, if you don't want to use a turning peel, you don't need to use a turning peel. You can just retrieve the pizza with your launching peel, turn it with your hand, put it back down. But you will get a much quicker and more reliable cook, and it's a really good skill to use using a turning peel, because you can use it, like I say, to guard the pizza, to allow it to sit on the base a little bit longer and stuff like that. But when it comes to these, the main important thing is this has to stay clean, okay? If you do use this to retrieve a pizza, it's going to pick up like all kinds of debris and all kinds of crap that's going to essentially, when you come to launch your pizza, you could get problems and it could stick and it can tear and stuff like that, and then you end up with like that kind of like half outside the oven, or it calzones and stuff like that. The other thing is moisture, any kind of moisture, any kind of stuff, you just got to be careful of oil, any tomato getting on it and stuff like that, because every time that if you go to launch it and there's something underneath, or if a bit of cheese goes underneath when you pick it up, just be wary of that, because that's going to cause you issues. It's going to burn onto the bottom of the oven, it's going to like melt, and you're going to go in and you're going to basically cut, like, you know, rip your pizza. But yeah, really important. Keep this super clean, keep it cool as well. If you are using it to retrieve pizzas and then you go in and you're going to go and pick up the next pizza, if this is warm, your pizza is your base is going to start to stick to it. It's essentially going to start to cook onto it, and it's going to become sticky and tacky, which then it's not going to want to slide off, and then you're going to be like, oh no, I need to use more flour, and then the bottom of your pizza is going to start burning and stuff like that. And when it comes to the bottom of the pizza, have a look at that. That is perfectly cooked. It's gone a little bit more of a flop now, but that's going to get a reheat later. I'd say, let me bring you in. I mean, look, it's light, it's airy, the underside is cooked nicely, the cheese is melted out.
that pizza is spot on. Right, so that is the whole video. That is how I use my turning peel, my launching peel in my Gozney ovens. Same goes for any oven. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, don't forget to subscribe, because look, I've got my 100,000 subscribers. I've got my plaque in the van. And yeah, if you want the dough recipe, the exact process of what I've just used, then click the video that's up here on this end screen, and don't forget to subscribe down in one of these corners. As always, thank you very much. I'll see you later. Bye bye.